Tough one to take against Bayern, but no time to dwell. It's the Champions League round of 16 time. Arsenal under the lights, and we're ready to bounce back. Let's go.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 39 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does FM with Leipzig. I hope you're doing well. Coming up today, we step into the knockouts of the Champions League. We take on Arsenal over 2 legs in the round of 16. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to it. If you are, do remember to leave a thumbs up on today's episode, all that good sort of YouTube stuff. We come into this one off the back of just the one game in yesterday's episode. We took on Bayern Munich there in a top of the table clash in the Bundesliga. Unfortunately, suffered a 1-0 defeat, but if you missed that one, which included a bunch of transfers, which is the reason we've got both legs of this round of 16 tie in today's episode. I'll leave a link to that one over in the top right corner. Hopefully can bounce back here as we do take on Arsenal. These guys currently are doing a pretty good job in the Premier League. They're in 4th. They were predicted though to finish 2nd. They're currently only a few points there behind Liverpool. I say a few, 7, which at that stage of the season is starting to get a little bit tough. Worth note there is that they are 13 points clear of Newcastle, who were the only team to beat us back in the league phase of the Champions League. We did actually play Arsenal back in that league phase. You would have seen the highlights during the intro. We did come from 1-0 down early to pick up a 2-1 win once I find that there it is. Goals there to Kudus in the first half and Marban off of the bench. So thankfully, we do have some experience beating these guys this season. Hopefully can do something similar in the first league. But to be fair, so far this season, being really strong at home. Hopefully that'll continue in the second league. It also means we've already done the hot spots here for London, so don't need to do that before this game that we are about to play. Also, we've still got no injury concerns. A couple of players who sit on yellow cards in the Champions League, quite a few of them in our defence. Malheiro, Diamonde, Lukeba, Martel in the balling midfield role. So that's a bit concerning. Hopefully don't pick up too many yellows in this first league, but really we've got a first choice 11 available for this one, so hopefully can put out a good performance yet again, this time at the Arsenal Stadium. Do note that it's not the Emirates apparently. Maybe it's had a name-changing game, because it certainly looks like the Emirates. But yeah, apparently it's the Arsenal Stadium. So hopefully we can pick up back-to-back wins here and take an advantage back to the Red Bull Arena for the second league. We'll get straight into the action in this round of 16 of the Champions League. And here are the team sheets for this first league. First up, the home team there in Arsenal going with a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-3-3. It could be a 4-3-3. Champions League graphics are a bit funny, but it's a strong-looking Arsenal team as you'd expect in a Champions League knockout game. We're going with our overall best 11 with our asymmetrical 4-2-3-1. So it's a big game, this one, with both teams going with their first choice 11s. It looks like hopefully we can find a way to at least take some parity back the Red Bull Arena. Fingers crossed we could also pull off back-to-back wins here at the Arsenal Stadium and put one foot in the door of a Champions League quarter-final in this first league. And just past the 20-minute mark, first highlight of this game today, we are in the all-blue Arsenal in their home uniform of the red and white, but a free kick here, the first highlight we see in this game. Play that ball nicely forward to Benjamin Sesko, does Martel. That's far too easy from a free kick, but we don't mind. Benjamin Sesko back from injury these days. That one he suffered in our last league phase game against Fenerbahce. We'll put that one home. I think that was Diamonde who found Martel, and Sesko just gets in behind the defence enough there to beat Raya from a tight angle. Probably covered too much there of the near post, did the Arsenal goalkeeper, but that was a little bit too easy with the first shot on target of this entire game. But we go 1-0 in front halfway through the first half. And just think around the last 5 minutes here of this first half, still just the one highlight for that one goal. That was a very dangerous free kick. They nearly given the ball away to Bukayo Saka, but thankfully do just keep it there for Osterwalde, albeit as I say that, poor pass there from Magno looking for Sesko, and our former player Inge Schluter can win that one for Arsenal. Nice ball over the top there too for Gabriel Jesus, but thankfully on the volley, probably had a bit more time there than he realised, but blast that one over the bar. So thankfully going to half-time here with a 1-0 lead. Stats-wise, quite an even game. Arsenal actually with higher XG, which is a bit surprising. We'll take off the Mohamed Kudus on a 6.5 for Kylian Salt. There he is, just in case you missed him during yesterday's episode, and also as an inside forward, seeing as he's one of the new boys here at RB Leipzig for the second half of the season, being homegrown nation and a bit better than Antonio Nusa. But so far, going pretty well. Definitely would take this going into the second leg back at the Red Bull Arena as we 1-0 in front. And in a couple of minutes here into the second half, looked like they were going to try and play a ball over the top, but unfortunately Gabriel can head that one down for Reyes. Arsenal here will try and get something going through the goalkeeper. He pumps that one deep just past the halfway line, but thankfully Malhero, he steps in and wins that one, heads it down to Xavi Simons, who makes his way out left. Now he starts to cut inside, plays the ball over the top there for Benjamin Sesko, who heads it home. Fingers crossed he was onside. That could be a massive cushion goal early here in the second half of this first leg, and thankfully it has been awarded. Don't actually see the VAR decision, but the goal has been given. That is a great start here to the second half. Gabriel just goes up there a little bit too early, and Sesko can put that one past Leia into the bottom right corner. Here's Xavi Simons, did a lot of work there for that goal, and thankfully Sesko is just a stride there behind Gabriel and heads that one home at the far post to give us a 2-goal lead. And just going past the hour mark in this game, time for us here to make another substitution, because at right back we've got Malhero down to a red hat on a 6.9, but with that fitness we'll bring on Adam Asnell, another one of our new players here at RB Leipzig for the second half of the season, off the back of the sale of Hugo Sakai again, someone who is homegrown nations. Definitely have bulked out that aspect of our squad here going into the remainder of the Champions League. And now a few more players drop down to red hats. So Bajcetic here can come on for Martel, and also Ben Seguir for Simons, who helps set up that second goal very nicely, 2-0, with 25 minutes left of the first leg. In fact, now Almas goes down to red hats, so our final sub, Yunus Musa, can come on as we look to hold on there to our 2-0 lead. And in fact, right off the back of that, there is a corner now in our favour. Oosterwolde will take this one. Of course, Sesko now is looking for a hat-trick. Can't quite find someone there at the near post, but Musa to Asnell, who finds Tallis Magno, first time finish there into the bottom left corner. It's a huge goal to make it 3-0 here at the Arsenal Stadium. They've got just no pedigree in Europe, do these guys? They really do struggle in the Champions League. Had to go through the first knockout playoff round, and it looks like he were going to beat them for the second time at home in the Champions League this season, but this time by a way bigger margin. Fingers crossed to it. 20 minutes left, but looking very good for us here to make the quarterfinals with a 3-goal lead. And it might not be over yet with 15 minutes left here. Now got a corner in our favour again. Looking there for Costello at the near post. Bit of aerial ping pong. Tallis Magno tries to loop that one over Raya, but unfortunately it's just off target. And we're still 3-0 in front here. We're about to make our way into the last 10 minutes of this game. And with that in mind, we might just start to time waste here ever so slightly, because a 3-0 scoreline, that'd be pretty good. Could then actually consider resting some of those guys on yellow cards for that second leg, at least putting them on the bench, and we'll use them if we really need to. But this is currently a great situation in this round of 16, albeit now Arsenal do have the ball from a highlight, trying to make their way out from the back. Good foot in there from Oosterwolde, but somehow Arsenal do actually keep that ball. This already feels like it could be a little bit of a screwy late goal here for Arsenal. Nice ball there from Rice to Martinelli, but thankfully Restiers does something really for the first time so far in this game, that he's had to pull off a save. Now they've got the corner, and that one goes just over the woodwork, and thankfully it's still 3-0. It felt like it might be about to be 3-1 late on here in this first league. We sneak our way into 4 minutes of added time, but thankfully it's gone by very quickly. That's a great effort for us first up there in today's episode, bouncing back immediately from that Bayern Munich loss that we had last game. That is a big win, 3-0 away from home. Sesko back in the goals off the back of that injury. That is good to see. Hopefully that'll continue for the remainder of this season. At the very least, make sure that we hold on to our big lead in the Bundesliga coming up. We've got Hoffenheim, well, I believe Bayern Munich, they take on Dortmund in Der Klassiker, so that could actually be a chance for us to get our gap on top back to what it was going into yesterday's episode if Dortmund can take some points off them. We've got Hoffenheim. We hopefully can beat them, but of course in between Champions League games that could be a little bit tricky. We'll come back and hopefully show you guys some highlights from that game, but that is a really good first league performance, a 3-0 lead going in to that second leg back at the Red Bull Arena, while our fellow German teams in Munich and Dortmund are 1-0 behind. And here's what happened in our Bundesliga game in between this round of 16 tie against Arsenal. It was at home against Hoffenheim, who are sitting around 6 currently on the Bundesliga table. The only goal did come from a set piece at the half-hour mark. We tried to find that Oosterwolde self-played it across there to Ben Seguir, big deflection, but thankfully it beats Hermansen in goal, and we pick up, in the end, just a 1-0 win. Overall stats, we probably should have won that game by quite a bit more, but to be fair, did rotate quite heavily with our starting 11 for that game, so we'll definitely take the 3 points from that one, and hopefully that means now we can hold on to our 3-goal lead in that round of 16 tie against Arsenal. You'd hope that anyway, even if we didn't rotate for that Bundesliga game, but that is a good result with all the rotation that we did make, and going back over there to see what also happened on that match week. And we'll go back here first because later on that day it was Der Klassiker, and Dortmund did hold Bayern Munich to a draw. So our gap over them now is 11 points, and even better, Bayer Leverkusen are further 3 points back because they got beaten by Heidenheim 3-0 somehow. Heidenheim near the bottom of the league, and that one was at home for Bayer Leverkusen's Pep Linders might be going to real life form there at Bayer Leverkusen, but some really good results for us there, and our gap on top goes back out to 11 points. Only way that could have been better is if Dortmund won and Bayern Munich were only on 53 points, but our gap goes back out there to 11 points. Not quite as good as it was going into yesterday's episode, but I think we'll take that off the back of that loss. Thankfully, Bayern Munich are just a bit stuttery this season. Hopefully can make the most of that and pick up the Bundesliga title, and we'll see what they can do here in the second leg of the round of 16, considering they're 1-0 down as they take on Inter Milan, but we are in a super strong position here, about to take on Arsenal back at the Red Bull Arena, and we are going to rotate our team just a little bit from the start, as I suggested, with a 3-goal lead. I think some of these guys on yellow cards we can leave on the bench. So a little bit of rotation for this game. Hopefully it pays off and we don't get blown off the park. If it gets in trouble, we can bring those big guys on just to make sure that hopefully they can do a job for us and just shore up our defence. But I'm hopeful we might be able to grab an early goal here. Still got likes of Cisco playing because he's pretty nice in terms of injury proneness, even on a heavy workload. Hopefully the rest of these guys do a decent job. Bajcetic comes in there for Martel, the only other player on a heavy workload. That's just because Martel has got that yellow card, which hopefully we can keep him on going in to the quarterfinals. But the 3-0 lead does mean I'm hopeful we can make these changes and still be okay, even if it does cost us a win at home on the day itself. But hopefully can see out this 3-0 lead and make our way through to the Champions League quarters. And a quick look at the team sheets here for the second league. Lots of changes for us, and they come at the back. We've got Asno at right back, Klosterman and Norby at centre back, and Bajcetic in defensive midfield, all because of the yellow card situation as we brought up before that first game. There are Arsenal, same formation, and a pretty similar team, albeit Declan Rice on the bench as well as Ødegaard. That's quite interesting of a selection there from Mikel Arteta as they walk out looking like they're trying to be Brazilian, but of course it's their banana uniform. At least Brazil have done something continentally, unlike Arsenal. Hopefully we can keep it that way and hold on to our 3-goal lead. And we don't have to wait long for the first highlight of this game, and it is Arsenal here trying to make their way out from the back in that yellowy lime green uniform that they are rocking with. They play it forward there to Gabriel Jesus, but thankfully Klosterman with a good foot in there. Now Kudus, he starts to cut inside, does a pretty good job. That pass I thought might be a little bit undercooked, but thankfully we somehow get it back. Kutrita there, interesting clearance there. Thankfully we just keep hold of it. Now Aljif Almas, edge of the box, pulls the one across the face. A goal for Benjamin Sesko, puts that one home. It's an early goal. That's just what we were after. Arsenal now in a world of hurt. They're 4-0 down on aggregate. You'd like to think even with some of these guys we've got out here for this game, we should be okay. That's exactly the start we wanted, especially with that rotated defence. Sesko makes it 3 in the tie overall and gives us a 4-0 lead. And just about to make our way here into injury time in the first half. Just that one highlight early where Benjamin Sesko did score the goal to give us a 4-0 lead, and that's going to be the scoreline going in two half times. Arsenal in a world of hurt, especially considering they've done nothing so far in this game. Just one corner and one yellow card. They're really struggling here in this round of 16 in the Champions League. We'll make some subs here, take off some players I want to play a couple of days off the back of this game when we take on Stuttgart, because that game somehow got moved forward, because of course they moved forward a game in the Bundesliga with a team in the Champions League involved. Not too sure what's going on there with the scheduling, but we all know the KloppBot does like moaning about that. We'll bring on Raum here at left back for Oosterwolde and Musa for Almas. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with how our boys are getting on out there with this 4-0 lead and only 45 minutes left. We should be making our way through to a Champions League quarter-final. And just shy of the hour mark, going to make another sub here because Stefan Bajcetic has gone down to a red heart. We don't want to bring on Martel on that yellow card with a 4-goal lead. So what we might do here is bring on Sub, but this time try him as a box-to-box midfielder, drag Musa back to a ball-winning one. So we'll see how that goes here the last half hour or so of this game, but hopefully it won't prove too costly with a 4-goal lead. And with 20 minutes to go in this game, still 4-0, it's pretty much Jova here for Arsenal. So with that in mind, going to make our final couple of subs. Let's take off Kudus and Magno on the wings for Nusa and Udrago. So those will be all our subs used here as we still hold a 4-0 lead. And eventually with 15 minutes left, Arsenal might be finally doing something here on the attack in this game. Albeit I say that, a good little interception there, and we boot the ball clear. I think that would have been through David Brown, but unfortunately Arsenal do get this one back and make their way into our half. But even now, we should be pretty safe with a 4-goal lead. If we're not, this will be one of the bigger bottle jobs of all time, which would be quite funny against Arsenal of all teams. That's a really nice ball, that though, from Gabriel Jesus, and Odegaard pumps that one home. Maybe they should have started him there. Big brain Mikel Arteta. Yeah, that might have been an interesting decision to not start him alongside Declan Rice, who played the ball there to Jesus. That's a top finish as well. Gets some help from the underside of the crossbar, but still, Arsenal finally do something in this game. That's their first shot overall. They score a goal, so it's a little bit frustrating considering how dominant we've been. But 1-1 on the day, 4-1 on aggregate. I think we'll be fine here with now only about 5 minutes left in this game. We'll try and sneak a praise in here as we make the later stages, albeit I don't know if that's gone through. Before a highlight where Arsenal are trying to make their way out from our end. Declan Rice down the left-hand side plays that one forward to Van Bommel, formerly of RZ, in the save. And now Jesus finds Odegaard again in a ton of space. We must be tightly marking Jesus. We'll just start to time waste ever so slightly just to make sure that they don't do something silly here late to Arsenal. But that does mean they take a 2-1 lead on the day. But to be fair, we don't mind that. We're still 4-2 in front overall on aggregate, but unfortunately, I've just found Odegaard a couple of times now in some space. Definitely, probably should have started him unless he was quite naked coming in to this game. So let's just see what happens off the back of those time-wasting changes that we do make. We make our way now into 4 minutes of added time. We're going to lose this game, which is a bit frustrating because they only have 3 shots overall, both on target. Did make their way past Restes, who picks up a 6.4 defensively. Not the best performance, but considering we put out a pretty heavy rotation in that part of the field, it's understandable, really. The early goal from Sesko did put that tight a bit as well as that first league win at the Arsenal Stadium. So we lose there at home for only the second time this season, but we don't mind it too much because we go through 4-2 on aggregate. We'll just go forward now and see who else has been knocked out or gone through on this match day here that we are playing in the round of 16 in particular. The other German teams, if they are in there, it is a draw there for Bayern Munich, not enough there to go past Inter Milan. And Newcastle, they beat Dortmund and they go through 3-1. So both the other German teams have been knocked out, which to be fair, might actually help their chances of trying to catch us in the Bundesliga. But this season it looks like we are by far the best German team in terms of most competitions. We make our way through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League off the back of a 4-2 aggregate win over Arsenal. So a pretty comfortable win for us there over 2 legs in that round of 16 of the Champions League. Made that look very easy off the back of that 3-0 win in the first league. Second league, a little bit frustrating. They scored those 2 goals with only shots on target, but still, we go through quite comfortably alongside Real Madrid, Newcastle, and Inter Milan. Going forward to the next day, and the other teams going through. Ajax have knocked out Barcelona. PSG in the end quite comfortably knock out Juventus. Man United just do enough to get past Lazio, and Porto knock out a Tottenham team who have been there or thereabouts in most European competitions so far in this safe. So the 8 teams that are going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Unfortunately, the draw doesn't take place for another week, but I dare say that's what we're going to be coming back for off the back of a couple of Bundesliga games. We're going to take on Stuttgart later on today. Lemon Friday kickoff, still not happy about that one. And also, we'll take on Heidenheim. They're 17th. So really, that's a team we should be winning maybe as well. We'll take on Freiburg before the Champions League quarters. And in between that, Bayer Leverkusen, which to be fair, is one of our toughest games left in the season as those guys are in third. But hopefully can pick up a win over them. And we might be able to wrap up the title even before we get into that final month of the Bundesliga season. But before we wrap things up for today's episode, honestly, it's a little bit of a downer. We've got our youth intake for the season. It's a lot worse than last year. There's a couple of players with 3-star potential. Rene Furstil is the first one. He's a goalkeeper. He looks okay. And the other player with 3-star potential down a bit further is Armin Delic, who is a right winger. But it's a pretty ugly looking youth intake here this season at RB Leipzig, which is a bit surprising. Probably won't be signing too many of these guys unless they do impress in the game against a quite stacked under-19 team that we do have, that I'll take a look at off the back of the Stuttgart game in the Bundesliga that I am about to play. But that will do it for today's episode quite comfortably through there to the quarterfinals of the Champions League and also extend our gap on top of the Bundesliga as well. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. As I said, we'll come back at the start of next week, of course, because this is going to be coming out on a Friday. We'll play that Champions League quarterfinal. I'm quite aware we might not get through all the season before we take a little bit of a Christmas break and get in to a bit more of a sketchy upload schedule while the holidays do take place, but hopefully it won't take us too long to get through the remainder of the season. It will probably depend on how we get on in the cup competitions and if we start to slip up in the Bundesliga, but currently looking pretty decent for a treble, at least a double, with us also being in the DFB Pokal semis against Nuremberg. We'll come back at the start of next week and play that Champions League quarterfinal, whoever that will be against. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.